May 27th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Our president is temporarily indisposed, and so I will be leading the meeting. First, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Do we still need to call our names out so that this guy knows who we are? Okay. So we'll start with Kim on the end.
I think usually you would do it.
Oh.
So-and-so and so-and-so.
Okay. All right. All right. We have Kim, our finance manager. We have Bob Heffernan, board member, Richard, board member, myself. Tom Panetta is missing. Press is here, Press Lee, Robin, our general manager, Sharon, our assistant general manager, Mike Hoffman, legal counsel, and Chris, our office manager.
And Madam Chair, Mayor Morosco is here. I'm ex officio and I'm on Zoom.
Thank you, Amy. Okay. Consent agenda. Does anyone have comments on the consent agenda? I do. The minutes of the board meeting for April 22nd. First, we want to correct the spelling of the Sussex County engineer. It's Mike Harmer, Harmer. And second, on page 3 of the minutes, item number 9. Sergeant Lundy is not an employee of the electric department, so that needs to be corrected. I guess it should say something like, a representative from Sergeant Lundy walked the area with the electric department.
Sergeant and Lundy.
Sergeant and Lundy, right. Also, in the contact details, it appears that one of our customers thinks that the bypass, the piping at the end of a street to, what's it called? Yeah. The flusher at the end of the street in the Burton subdivision. It appears that he thinks that's causing the discolored water. And it's trying to alleviate the discolored water. So that was something that should be corrected.
Where's that, Barbara?
That was in contact detail.
Okay.
Forget which one.
What page?
Page. It's pretty close to the end. ID number 150001. It says rusty water due to flusher put on end at the end of the street and water saturation in her yard from the flusher hose.
Page 8.
Barbara, were you I think that maybe was on Hornkill, not Barton.
Oh, really?
because we have one, yeah, but
You
you're
do
talking
have
about
one
the
on
yard.
Hornkill too,
Yes,
yeah.
you're talking about, when you said the yard, because,
Okay,
yeah, but that's been changed, because now it runs underground,
Yes.
yeah, so it's not, but, yeah, we'll
okay.
follow back up.
And that points to something I had a discussion earlier with IT about whether it would be possible to put the location automatically of the contact person so that we had 9 complaints of discolored water and no idea where they're coming from.
It was all during hydrant flushing.
Was it? But still, it would be nice to have at least the street name.
I'll have to reach you out.
Yeah. And Josh said he would look into that. So that it's not something you guys have to look up, but that it automatically appears on the contact details. I think that was it. Yeah. With that, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda
With the changes.
with the changes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Okay, call to the public. This is your opportunity, members of the public, to address the board on any BPW-related matter, whether it's on today's agenda or not. Yes. Please come up to the podium and identify yourself.
Yes.
Name
thank you so much.
and address.
Yeah, my name is Michael Damaris. I'm the president of the Oyster Cove community off of Old Orchard Road here in Lewes. And I know we're not technically in the city of Lewes, but I just wanted to, I testified a couple times, and my concern is just getting a better understanding on behalf of our community is the continual rise in cost for our sewer has just gone up substantially since this community was built 4 years ago. And just trying to get some better understanding in regards to why the costs are going up so dramatically. And secondly, there's never any communication in regards to the increases. So as an example being in understanding that I know that we pay more because we're outside the city limits, so I certainly understand that we pay approximately 1.5% more from what my understanding is in doing some research. But just so you're aware, our monthly sewer bill now is $144 per month at Oyster Cove. And when we moved in here, it's a new development in 2022, it was $108. So if you do any research in regards to sewer bills, based on my experience in moving here from New England, and I've done other research around other communities, we're spending, I'm being charged currently almost $1,800, $1,700.28 a year for just my sewer. And my monthly Tidewater bill that I just paid this past month was $37 for my water. So again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but $37 to shower and do everything that I need from a needs perspective on water. Yeah, for sewer, I'm paying literally almost 4 times as much for a sewer bill. And that's just a dramatic increase of 35% in less than 4 years. And the increase just happens. The bill just comes in. I paid what was last month? I paid $132 on April 5th or whatever it was, and all of a sudden the bill arrives. It's gone from $132 to $144. So, as you probably can well imagine, being the president of the HOA, the folks in the community aren't too happy and trying to mitigate costs. We're trying to understand. I understand you guys are in a tough position. I appreciate what you do for the community. We love the community of Lewes, but it just seems like this is just getting to a point of being a little bit ridiculous in regards to what it's costing us to just literally, it's literally we have 24 units, so our community's spending $41,472 a year for sewer for 24 facilities. I actually live by myself, and all joking aside, I'm almost getting charged like $1 every time I flush my toilet. So I'm just saying, it's getting to the point where I'm asking for some kind of at least evaluation of this, and I'm understanding, when I look at my bill, it lastly says that 80% of my water usage, and I mean, here is my bill from Tidewater. And the other thing that's just, interesting, I can go across the street, Old Orchard, and go to Nassau Community, and they have Tidewater for their sewer. Now, I prefer to give the business to Lewes. That's where I live. I love the community, but I can't change. I'm locked into you folks. So I'm just asking for some consideration in regard to the fact that this just seems like the costs have gotten a little bit out of control for our community. And I'm not understanding why these increases just happen and there's no communication. Once I called in a couple of years ago, it's on the website. Well, you can't even at least throw a buck slip into the mailing and say, hey, by the way, this is the reason why we're having an increase. I just think that's just being considerate of the situation. So that's all I had to say. I mean, I'm asking, I don't know if there's any questions for me specifically, but I'm just still trying to get my head around this 80% of water usage cost and why these things continue to go up so dramatically.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
comments.
I appreciate you listening.
Okay, next on the agenda, any other calls from the public, comments from the public? No, okay. So, the Inframark Report, Matt, you're up.
Hello, everyone. Matthew Davis from Inframark. I am the project manager at the Lewes wastewater treatment plant. So we had several projects going on throughout the month of April. Again, we work a month behind, so going through April projects. Pump Station 6, this is kind of April and this month a little bit. We're unable to complete the work due to the condition of the piping. We had originally talked about just replacing the piping. We had a contractor come in to replace the valves. They got down in there, and the condition of the piping was too far gone to replace the valves. I had Sharon come out and Ben come out and assess it, showed them the damage and assessed it. And actually, I believe you walked by right when we were looking at it the one day.
I should have stopped.
Way too, yes. But, yeah, so, and since then, I've talked to Sharon, and we've talked to Sprigg and some other contractors. We're looking at going ahead and putting a bypass in for an emergency right now until we can get the station redone.
Wow.
Pump Station 6 is one of those pump stations we went out for
They're-
funding for. So it's in the queue, but in the meantime, we're gonna put the bypass in.
Sounds like a good plan then.
Was this,
Yeah.
was this an iron pipe?
I believe it was put in the 60s, early 60s. So it's pretty old. So, I believe it's all iron, yes. When you got down in there, the contractor, like she showed us, you could touch it and it was just peeling away. There was nothing to bolt to, nothing to take off. Like it's just really, really bad shape. Any questions on that?
Sort of how long might it take to resolve? I mean, to figure out what you need to do and...
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to the funding, and how long that takes to progress.
So the bypass we're going to do outside the funding. So we're working on that now with GMB, getting the plan, getting some proposals. So as soon as we get all that in order, we're gonna go ahead and get started on that, especially with summer coming.
Yeah, so.
Does Ben have any comments he wants to make about how that proposal is going, how that plant is going? Ben Hearn
regards
from
to-
GMB.
Sorry, this is Ben Hearn with GMB. Your question on Pump Station 6 was related to the bypass connection
Yes.
status?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, the plans, I mean, we just talked about it, I think, late last week
yeah.
sometime, so we gotta get some work together. We've already got survey out there from previous work we've done, so it should be a quicker thing to put together.
The initial thought was trying to find out the location and where we could put the bypass, where we could put the connections, how the generators, or the pump itself was gonna be located, the wet wells,
Trying to
things
think
like that.
too, related to the resilient structure that's gonna be there, trying to set it up so we're not having to remove this at a later time, making sure it's in the right kind of location.
Any idea on timing for the,
Oh, I think it'd be fairly quickly, at least on our side.
The bypass should be
bypass.
as soon as we can get a contractor scheduled and close. As far as the actual
come up
station.
to the,
Oh, sorry. As soon as the actual station, that's more funding and
What all has to be replaced?
the entire station.
The entire station. It's all
Yeah,
done.
it's, the piping, I guess that'd be more of a question for Ben, but
Yeah.
the existing wet well, I guess, can stay, but everything else has to be replaced.
Yeah, the internals to the station, like the guide rails and everything that's there for the pumps, I think you said the
Yes.
pumps were rusted to the base in there, which is not ideal, so obviously there's gonna have to be some level of breaking that apart, hopefully, concrete repairs associated with that, but essentially everything internal to the station will be replaced.
Is the station operating?
Yes, currently. There's only one pump in, sorry.
With the rusted?
Currently, yes, it is operating. There is only one pump in there. We are not able to take that pump out or put a new pump in. We have a spare pump for the station, but we can't do anything with it.
If
When
it
we
broke, you
tried to
couldn't
remove-
put
when we
one
tried
in.
to remove the pump's rusted to the base of the station. Anything we did couldn't dislodge it.
And to note, I think that pump was installed in 2019,
Yeah.
so it's not a, extremely aged pump, which is the good news. And the bypass connection, putting that in gives you the flexibility. If something were to happen in that, you can maintain operations until the bigger, plan comes together.
okay. Any other questions?
Well, Barbara's question again,
Yeah.
how long is it gonna take to make a plan?
Well, we'd have to get with the contractor, again, I think Matt was going to be trying to.
As far as the bypass or the entire station?
The bypass, to start off with the bypass.
Yeah, start off with the bypass.
The bypass, I already met with Sprigg and had them out there. It shouldn't take long at all. Within the next 2 weeks, I should have something
2 weeks,
scheduled
okay, I
and,
understood that.
yeah, within the next 2 weeks, I should have something scheduled and submitted to BPW.
So is that a month away from actual replacement with your bypass and temporarily?
Barring no lead times or anything like that, as far as I'm aware, it's just putting in piping. And valves, and I believe we could get on that within the month, yes.
How big an area does it serve?
So I'm kind of going from memory here. I believe it serves everything from Connecticut northwest, so like all the pump stations further up in the gravity sewer flow to that. I think it carries a little bit to the southeast of that, but the majority of it comes from northeast or northwest.
Okay, tough time of year to have that happen.
Yeah. Can I ask kind of a related question? How can your men go and do monthly checks at various pump stations? And is this something that could be observed in other pump stations or from data that already exists? In the back, you've got the spare pump table
Yes,
with model numbers,
yes.
but there doesn't seem to be any date of the age of the pumps, or like when you say this
Yeah.
this pump station 6 was put in the 60s. Do we know, how to find out if there are other places that have something like this, so we're not just doing it one at a time when something breaks?
Okay. Without actually going and pulling certain pumps, it would be a little hard, and I can have my guys do that. We do monthly pump station checks where we do check all the pump stations. As far as getting a date on the age of some of those pumps, I'd have to have somebody physically go in and pull the pumps at each pump station, and we can try and get that to you by next month, maybe. It'd be kind of labor intensive, but we can get that done. As far as this happening again, we have done repairs or work at all the pump stations in the flood zones aside from that station. That's the only station, to my knowledge, maybe 7, but I think we pulled the pumps at 7, that we haven't actually pulled the pumps since my company's been here.
Right.
So I don't foresee anything like this happening at any other pump station currently. However, on this list, you guys had me do this table. Bob Heffernan did. Yeah. And I've started the table. It's not done yet. I've just, with everything, other stuff going on, I haven't had a chance to completely finish it or get quotes for everything. But I've talked to the people at Inframark, and I've talked to Sharon and Robin, and it'd be my recommendation moving forward, instead of looking at like spare pumps for everything, I really think maybe like bypass connections for everything with a standard bypass pump, a little bigger than what we have, that we could go through and monitor these stations. Like should an emergency happen, or we run into something like this again, because right now we have a pump currently that has been sitting in our garage since 2019. Whether that pump works or not, I don't know. Without hooking it up to electric, there's no way to know.
It was mentioned that 6 receives material from there up to however much it does. Is that a special condition that maybe exists in a similar location that would lead one to suspect those similarly relatable pump station?
Station 5, which is up from Station 6, and maybe Station 7 are the 2 worst ones with rusting as of right now. And they're on the resiliency study, but I'm able to remove those pumps, and I have spare pumps for those stations.
5 and 7?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a spare pump for 6 as well. The issue with 6 is I'm unable to replace the valves, and I'm unable to remove those the pumps there. That's the issue with that specific station. As far as 5 and 7 goes, I've worked on those pumps since I've been here in the past 3 years. So I don't see a potential issue like this before we're able to do the work on those stations.
Okay.
This is a submersible pumping station,
Yes.
and the bypass, is it all within the wet well? Or how is it?
There's no bypass there. What are you
Talking about a bypass.
We're probably putting a bypass in.
Yes.
Is
that all going to be within the wet well, or is it?
It's going to have, we were looking at,
It's going to be outside.
yes, we were looking at specific designs, and it's going to have to be outside the wet well.
But it's going to be in the right of way, not in somebody's yard. It's going to be, that's why we were deciding the best location.
Station 5 is the one that
does.
floods,
Yeah,
not 6.
So we're gonna, and how much, how far it's gonna run? Is it gonna be above ground, that it's gonna be in somebody's way, or?
We're still in the early stages. I just met with Sprig yesterday, so we're still in the very early stages of trying to plan this out. I mean, we're gonna try and rush it to get things moving along, but I haven't met with Ben yet. Like, we're just now getting proposals together, so.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So, the gate replacement for train 4, still waiting on the lead time for those parts. The replacement valves for the ditches did come in. They just came in last week. So I'm scheduling Kramer to come out and do that work. I had talked to them previously. They had already given me quotes on it. And we're going to get that moving hopefully within the next month. So the valves for the ditches will finally be replaced here hopefully within the next month. As far as the doors and the stuff around the plant, we're looking at a couple different options with that. I'm trying to get some cheaper pricing. I've talked to multiple companies, and I'm just trying to get the best pricing right now for replacing the doors around the plant.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I got on here, ragging for station 3417B is significant and needs to be addressed. And I had sent Sharon some pictures, and I planned on printing you guys out some pictures, but I forgot to at the last minute.
They're not very pretty. I have spoken with, I forgot his name, but he is one of the managers over at Hauling Cove. So he is on board with trying to curb the residents from putting things down the sewer system. I did issue him a letter letting him know we have this new policy in place, and we really do not want to fine him, but if we continue to have issues, it will result in the fine. So he's okay with that. We also took over information, magnets, stickers to put on bathrooms over there, so we have given them a lot of education pieces, so hopefully we'll see an improvement.
Okay.
And we still have the project of getting rid of pump station 17.
Yes.
Yes, that's in
Correct.
the works. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I have one here. We have been reaching out to other contractors other than EnviroUp for the water reuse. Since that has transpired, I actually got in a quote from EnviroUp randomly. I guess he had my email wrong or something to do the work for that project. It came back at around $23,000 to do everything, and that includes an extra pump for the water reuse. So I would kind of leave it up to you guys or Robin and Sharon if you guys want to look at the numbers to see, because our water usage is significantly down now that we fixed the sprayers for the 2 millimeter. So if you guys want me to proceed with that, we could proceed with that. Or if you want me to hold off and kind of look at the numbers, we can do that. We can go that route too.
We just got the quote, so we'll take a look at it and see.
Yeah, do a cost benefit. Yeah, okay, thank you. Point Watch is like your
Yes.
SCADA light.
So we currently use Point Watch for monitoring our pump stations. Since I have been here, we have had nonstop issues with Point Watch. We have a lot of connection issues. Like I have a great relationship with Sam Schlegel, who's the rep for Point Watch. He, not knocking him, but just the system itself, I don't love. We'll get 10 alarms a day for connection issues. Or it'll lose reception. It'll be offline for an hour, 2 hours, and then it'll come back. And I just wanted to see if it would be all right with you guys if I could reach out to other contractors and look at getting different monitoring service other than point watch for our pump stations.
Now, if you did that, would it have to be all replaced at the same time to be on the same system so you could monitor it?
I believe so, yes.
Plant.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
But I believe so.
Yeah. And if we were going to do that, wouldn't we want to look, would we want to look at something where we could not just monitor but control? A real SCADA system instead of press release?
Now you're talking, big dollars,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
know,
Yeah,
I know.
I think we should hold off on that until we know where we're going with the county and all that. But
Yeah.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Does the county use Point Watch?
That I am not sure. I don't believe they do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm almost
recall
positive
correctly.
they don't,
Yeah.
because the county's relationship and the Point Watch relationship isn't great.
So we'd want to have what they like.
Yeah.
So do we want to wait and see how everything goes, or?
It wouldn't hurt to get information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what Barbara and Press are saying is find out what the county uses.
Yes.
Okay.
Look at that as an alternative,
Okay.
because we're sort of
Heading that way.
headed in that direction to be compatible with them, and if that's better. Now, I guess you're saying 10 alarms a day.
It's significant.
It
I'm
takes-
giving an estimate, but
Yeah,
it's
but it
it's
takes you a
significant.
while to run those down and say,
Yeah.
hey,
So
that
the
valve is
again-
still open, or
Yeah,
should be open.
the biggest problem is when you get that many alarms, like, it's hard to differentiate between what's real, what's not real, like,
Yeah.
and like I said, this is an issue that we've been dealing with since I have been here. But we'll get false alarms, like it'll go off on IO offline, which is where it loses connectivity, but it sends us a high level alarm
Well,
instead.
Okay, you probably ought to have a conversation with your friend Sam or whatever.
Sam
his name
Schlegel, yes.
a little bit of, what do they think this is?
Yeah, I've talked to him.
Don't do it now.
Yeah.
If you're getting false positives, where do they come from? And that either means communications, or it means the device itself out there in the field, or it means
Point watch itself, yes.
the monitoring system. And typically SCADA systems aren't all that complicated, and they're pretty reliable, I think.
Yeah.
So,
So I was asking about shopping around because I haven't been impressed.
I think you got your answer from
Okay.
Chris and Barbara.
I appreciate that. All right. As far as the membrane cleaning on trains 3 and 4, I haven't got that done yet. I was waiting to see if the parts would come in for train 4 because I was trying to hold off. It's still looking like it's about a month away before we get the parts for train 4. So I'm going to have to go ahead and swap those membranes, which I've been trying to avoid, but I'm going to go ahead and do that this coming month. So we'll swap 3 and 4 back to their original places and go ahead and do the membrane cleanings. I do have on here, and I just talked to Sharon and Robin about this a little bit. There is a very strong possibility that we're going to have the EQ tank cleaned out again. I know we had it cleaned out 2 years ago. Reaching out to other plants and people that I know personally, standard practice is usually about every 5 years you have a membrane. You clean out your EQ tank about every 5 years. We had both of our mixers go down at the same time, and it's caused a buildup in the tank that I'm worried is going to damage the membranes. We were down, we were when we got back the one mixer, we were trying to run the mixer, but it's very labor intensive. You run it for 15 minutes. Somebody stands up there the entire day and monitors our influent pumps because it'll overflow if not. So we had been running it as time allowed and personnel allowed, but it's been getting steadily worse throughout the winter. And when we got back we finally got back the other mixer and put it in April. We tried to put both mixers on, have somebody in a Tyvek suit, put them up there and spray the mixers down with a high pressure hose, or spray the screens down with a high pressure hose, but the screens would bind over immediately. And the sediment and the trash was blowing right through the screens into the membranes. So running the mixers is not an option currently until we get the tank fixed.
When you say tank fixed, you mean
tank cleaned out. Tank cleaned
and
out.
the sediment removed?
Yeah. So we originally, Jeff and I were looking at other options. That we had talked about that in the walkthrough, but after what we saw when we turned both mixers on, we don't see any. We think there's too much sediment in the bottom to actually go through with those options.
So with the sediment in the bottom and without running the mixers, it's an issue of capacity, or
eventually the sediment's going to get up to our piping, and it's going to blow through our system.
Yeah.
So it's not crucial right this minute, but it is something that we really need to look at in the very foreseeable future.
When is that minute? Like, are you?
I honestly,
I'm struggling for dates here. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months.
2 years.
I can't give you an exact date, honestly. You could have months, you could have years. I honestly don't know.
But you'd have somebody standing up there watching it the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much. If for us to try and honestly, you can't even run the mixers right now. Because when we turn on the mixers, we get this, it binds over the screens immediately.
Have you seen an increase in crap getting in? Not crap. Like a lot of crap. Yeah, but debris.
It's
debris
just beginning.
like the wipes, like the problem we've had before.
Some of that, yes, but not substantial. It's just been where our mixers were down. Our mixers usually handle everything. Since I've been there, the mixers have worked really well. They managed the debris good. But when our mixers went down, we had a span of like 3 months or 2 months where we didn't have any mixer at all. And just that build up, it got to be too much. So.
Well, another way to ask the question is, could you do it in 60 days or 30 days? Is it possible?
Could we clean it out?
Yeah.
It's a funding issue. So that's why
How much is that?
I just got the quote back. It would be $34,000 to clean the tank.
34,995.
35.
Okay, but that's, you have a man stand up there from now to September. That's,
How quickly could you get it done? I mean, we're getting.
I could schedule them, and they could get out here, and we could get it done within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's just a matter of pushing through the funding, and that's
because the flow's really starting to build up by 4th of July, we're at peak.
yeah, I think pushing that forward, and if you need a special meeting, I think, Robin, you could approve that.
Yeah, you
I
can do it
think,
anyway.
You can do it anyway.
I just didn't want to make that call without bringing it before you guys.
No, I appreciate that, but
It'll be an increase to the O&M repairs and maintenance for sewer.
I think that's worth doing.
Timing-wise, it sounds like it's a critical issue.
So you need to go ahead and push forward with that?
We'll work on getting a PO.
All right, thank you, Chair.
I mean, you've got it as mature as it's gonna get for us. And
All right.
you scared us to, on the other side. Are you, what are you gonna talk about next?
All right. So as far as corrective maintenance activities, so again, we replaced the 2 mil actuating valve. That's helped with the water usage in April. At the very beginning of April, we did that. We replaced the digester 1 return pump, and that was due to just due to wear that failed. We found in Station 8, actually right after CES, like cleaned the lines out, some debris got in and damaged the pump, and we had to replace a rotating assembly for pump 2.
Was it like concrete or something? What?
It was a piece of concrete about this big. Got sucked in through the piping and into the pump.
Oh,
Yeah, that as well as a clean out valve for like a septic, about a PVC about that big. So, we had some trash hung up on floats at Station 83. We had to replace the high level float due to that. We had a micro C leak that the operators fixed, as well as a hypo leak that the operators fixed.
Were those new tanks or?
That's the pumps, not the tanks.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
okay, thank you.
Same old pumps, new
Okay.
tanks. But, yeah, that's it.
Okay, just back on your little charts here.
Yep, go ahead.
You made a comment 2 months ago. You said maybe we have to figure out what the county is sending us.
Yes.
And I noticed that 3 days before the peak, they hit 0. They stopped sending you stuff, and then they turn it back on for some reason. Now, I don't know why they do that. I'm just offering that as an observation that as former, as other months roll through, we might understand why right before a big rainstorm, they turn us off and then wait for the rainstorm and then send us a bunch.
I try not to get into the county flows too much, but we do notice that too.
Okay. You know,
So emptying their lagoons to get ready for the rain or?
shutting
No, it
down their
doesn't-
lagoons.
doesn't go there.
Sending us 0, waiting for the rain, and then, so it's an odd pattern.
That flow comes from, Wolf Run, Wolf Point area.
Wolfnet.
Oh, I thought it was from the county.
Anyway,
I'm honestly
Well,
not
it's all
sure.
county. That's county flow.
But I mean,
I think they have a
Pump
reason. I
station
don't know what it is.
196.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But we do notice a significant increase right after a rain event, just this past rain event. Our flows would up
From that,
substantially.
yeah. All right,
I think that's right.
Any other questions?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've got a couple, of course. You'd be disappointed if I didn't. right,
I
Matt?
know.
I was looking at the maintenance fee expenditures, and last month there was a lift rental for a crane inspection.
Yes.
And this month, there's a lift rental for a 5-millimeter conveyor auger.
Yes.
So do we have lift rentals every month, or was the crane
It just happened
inspection
to
an annual
coincide.
thing?
I had to rent a lift for the crane inspection, which is the crane inspection is actually on this. And I also had to, because The way the 5 mil, or the way the 5 mil auger works is the motor for it is outside of the actual plant. So there's no way to access that without a lift. So we had it get compacted and fail. So in order to get up there and maintenance, we had to get a lift.
Okay, and then I was confused because it's the date of the invoice for the crane services was like almost a month before the date of the crane rental.
That's just how they paid it. I'm not quite
You
sure
pay-
on that.
They invoice you in advance.
Yeah, that's just how they paid it. I'm not quite sure. So,
Okay. What else do they have? This new table that says Lewes, and it's got dates and number of loads and volume. Is that sludge to Sussex? It didn't have just says Lewes, it doesn't say what it's for.
Yeah, it's sledge hauling.
Hauling, yeah,
The hauling that goes
Yes.
out.
okay. And the spare pump table, thanks for that. I know you said it's not complete yet, so I won't ask any questions about the missing information.
Yeah, on that note, I would like to say, I started to talk about it at the beginning. I'm gonna get quotes for everything highlighted. And we can look at but my recommendation would be I would like to put in bypasses for everything, like I said, because I just don't like the idea of us ordering spare pumps and then possibly sitting on the shelf for 4, 5, 6 years without us using them.
So your thought is that if we have some bypass pumps, when a pump fails, we can order a new one?
Yes.
And in the meantime, use the bypass? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in today's world, most pumps we can get within a couple weeks. There's very few pumps that have a lead time of 2-3 months. But with the bypass, like I said, that would service multiple stations and allow us in an emergency to always have that option, whether it be power failure or pump failure or whatever.
But it sounds like it takes a few weeks to set up a bypass pump.
No.
No? So this one we talked about earlier?
I'm sorry. To put in a bypass, yes. To set it up, no. Set it up in a couple hours.
Once the connection's there, yeah. It's just
If
doing,
you have the connections there.
If you have the connections there.
And the regular pump is working,
yeah.
then
Right.
you just close off a couple of valves and
Right.
bolt something in
Yeah.
and check for leaks and open the other valves.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good approach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
we
know
all can prioritize it, and I imagine it's pretty expensive by the time we get done, but.
Yeah, I know you guys are gonna keep the pump stations even if you go with the county. I feel like that'd be a good option for you guys, even in moving forward in the future, to have a bypass set up for you guys once you guys are handling the.
Yeah.
So at some point, maybe you have some numbers on it and say, this is gonna cost X over
Yes.
Y years and incorporate it.
For the majority of these pumps that do not currently have bypass, the 5 that I looked at that do not have a spare or bypass, they are actually in the resiliency study where we are calling out, we were gonna put a bypass in anyway. So that, there's if we're gonna put the bypass in, do you wanna do it at the same time as the other repairs and upgrades? Or do we just wanna focus on the bypass and get them in? So that can be a discussion because we could talk about it forever.
Right, timing.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions for Matt?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you guys.
Okay, next is receive the president's report.
He was busy.
No. Okay, receive the general manager's report.
All right, thank you. You received my report in the packet. Just a brief overview. We coordinated with AC Schultes regarding the installation of the test and monitoring wells at the well field as part of the emerging contaminant grant, which is PFAS. The options of either maybe doing a deep well or treatment for PFAS. So they're working on getting the wells installed, and then we'll start doing some monitoring of the water. Had discussions with a representative from Abbott Park about a draft development agreement. They're actually potentially doing a water sewer project, which would be upgrading their lines in their park, but would also require some new connections to ours. New sewer line, new connection at the sewer line at the street, and upsizing the pipe, the water pipe. Right now we have a 2-inch line going in meter. They have smaller lines. Some of the lines are underneath the mobile homes right now. They're talking about moving them out into their private lanes. This was discussed years ago.
They have a contractor lined up to do it?
Yes, yep.
Good.
Yep, yeah. So originally they were gonna do their inside project and then they were gonna do ours, but then now we're gonna combine it together. So we have to work on a development agreement because we'll be taking over some of that infrastructure on our side. The stuff inside the park will still belong to them. We won't be taking any of that infrastructure off in the park. Sharon and I attended the Hornkill community meeting in preparation to start of the Hornkill project. Went well. Residents were really appreciative of giving them some information on the project. So we're going to be moving forwards.
Did they see the pumping station?
Yeah, yes they did. Yep, yes they did.
Did they like it?
There was
No
comments.
comments.
No,
There was no comments.
good.
Yep.
Good.
Sharon, as she noted, she's engaged with the staff at the Holy Cove about the pump station, the regs in the pump station. So hopefully that will alleviate some of the issues. Some of the work that the electric department did, they had to repair some inline connections and splice the wire in the neutral. That was the latest power outage we had. Set a new transformer at Pilot Town Road. The water department replacing some 2 lead service lines, repaired a fire hydrant on Cedar Street, installed 2 temporary E1 pump stations and force mains for the homes on Savannah Road. That's part of the Alaska Avenue project. IT and admin and finance.
They were temporary?
They're going to be temporary. Yeah. When the new line gets put in, they'll get removed. New security upgrades at the water plant. Kim has been working on proposals for the cost of service study, which we'll talk a little bit later about tonight. As far as the projects, the elevated water storage tank is going along really well. They're sandblasting and prepping for paint. Moving on, still looking for September.
Did you talk to them about a tour?
We cannot tour the site because it's an active work site. You can go on our side, but you cannot go on that site itself right now while they're working.
Okay.
Yeah, there was discussion at the last progress meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Darn it.
It's just safe.
Well, you can get pretty close.
You can get close.
I want to go inside.
Oh,
September.
With September. Okay. Yep.
We can tour it after that.
All right.
Briefly talked about the Hornkill project. Held a community meeting. Hopefully we'll start June or July of this year. Sorry, I put 27. Actually, with a 9-month duration period. 4th Street, we're continuing to do the layout of the project. The city approved the streetscape design.
They
at their
did?
last meeting. Yes, they did.
I thought that was just a hearing they had.
No, they had a hearing in a meeting after that. So
We approved it.
Oh, which one? Oh, I'm going to have to look.
We did it at our council meeting. The one on the 19th, I think.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Amy.
As far as the CDS application that we submitted for additional funding, received information from Senator Blunt Rochester's office and Senator Coon's office just recently. They are supporting our application and moving it forward to put it in the allocation for the bill. So hopefully we will get additional funding for the project.
Cross them all.
Yeah, correct. Cape Scope project, we're moving along. Hopefully they'll be done in July. That's the water and sewer project for the mobile home park out there on New Road. We had a new hire this month, Will Hegg. He's our water and sewer technician, so he's in our water department. Service longevity recognition. We have Sharon Sexton here, 5 years. And Emmett Foraker, he's our water sewer supervisor. He has 13 years with us.
Yeah, good for him.
We completed our training that we were talking about, CPR and first aid training on the 5th. And hopefully most of the employees have the defensive driving stuff done. They can do that online. That push them a little bit. Upcoming meetings, our next regular meeting is June 24th. We have a DMAC Joint Council meeting on June 2nd for all who's attending.
How many are attending from the board?
Tom is as well.
Thomas, too? Okay.
So you and I and
Tom.
Tom, okay.
The Juneteenth holiday is June 19th. All the city and BPW offices are closed. Also, we got recognition from the APPA. We received a 2025 certificate of excellence in reliability for electric.
Oh,
So this is our 3rd year in a row. We were on there, looks like we're 23, 24. I think we got it in 21 and 18.
fantastic.
All right.
So congratulations to the staff
Yeah,
for doing
Yes.
a great job.
You guys
Great
too.
job. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's all I have.
Question,
Yep.
Robin. The, under office projects, communication changes at wastewater treatment plant to reduce overall O&M costs and add failover redundancy. What's that about?
Josh could probably, he's on
Which one was it?
the communication changes.
Who was that?
That was on the second page, top general manager's report.
Sorry, my computer just crashed, so.
Oh,
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt's going too, so
So maybe write us a note.
Mike, I don't know
Yeah.
if
we could follow up.
you assisted Josh at all
Okay.
with the wastewater treatment plant communications.
Oh,
No,
wastewater treatment
That
plant.
is glow fiber. That is glow fiber.
Okay, oh,
Yes.
yep.
Oh, that's the glow fiber one at the wastewater plant?
Yeah, because I think,
Oh, yeah.
because we're getting rid, so it's actually gonna route
Yeah.
back to here, so that's how we're reducing the efficiency there. Or reducing the cost.
reducing costs.
Yes, yes.
Improving the efficiency.
Reducing costs.
Taken from 3 different locations that we serviced out of basically just one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, the finance manager's report.
All right. We have the Q4 year-to-date, so it's year ending 3/31/26. This is unaudited. I included the table of contents of the full packet, and I marked what's included in the review packet, just so you know what you have, and if you want to review and want to add anything else, just let me know. I'm going to start on page 2. Line 25, we're finishing with about $11.1 million in cash and cash equivalents. And the next few pages, we're going to get into a little bit more of the summary. On page 3, it is cash flows from operating activities. And I'm gonna just go over like the largest differences and comparable to the budget. So the two largest differences between approved versus actuals are change in operating reserve balance and change in working capital. So if you look at lines 12 through 16, the budget was $350,000, and it actually year end is 1.5 million. So that means that we transferred 1.2 million more into the operating reserve than we budgeted for originally. And line 17 through 21 is the change in working capital. So this is the adjustment from the accrual recognition of like accounts payable, accounts receivable, and what we actually pay out and what we receive. So I did an example. So for water account payable balance, it's higher than last year, which means we recognized a large sum of money in expenses, but we never paid that money out. So that is an increase to our cash because it didn't go out until April. So that's the flip on line 18, that it was originally budgeted for a decrease to our cash, but it ended up being an increase. So that's one example of how it works. So we expected about a $670,000 negative impact to cash flows, and it was only about $250,000. On page 4, this is our investing activities. Lines 1 through 5, you can clearly see that we spent about $2.8 million less on projects than budgeted. For water, wastewater, and stormwater, a lot of that is coming from Hornkill, Capes Cove, and Monroe and Railroad. From Monroe and Railroad, we moved that down, I think, 3 years. And then Hornkill and Capes Cove, that was actually a budgeting issue that me and Ben have worked on of when it's a $1 million project, I'll 500, 500. And actually, once we actually get the funding, we're not actually working until we're already halfway through the year. So working out the draws. Lines 6 through 10. So this is actually the opposite of the operating reserve. This means that we had too much money in the capital reserve, and it gave us back the money. So overall, the reserve was fully funded, but it wasn't allocated correctly. So that's what those two lines say.
Okay.
On page 5, lines 1 through 5 are new debt draws received, less principal payments going out for already established debt. So when you're seeing these large numbers, like on line 2 for water, just keep in mind that is eventually going to become payments going out. So towards the end of the projections, you start seeing the negative numbers. That means we are paying more money than we are receiving for new projects. For lines 11 through 15 are the impact fees. We saw about half of what we expected for new development, and I just pulled out 2 examples. These are the 2 largest ones. I had Tower Hill originally for 90. We got about 45 new houses. And Dutchman's Harvest, I scheduled for 8 new buildings. We got 4. 3 of them came in April, so close. But I was a month off. And page 6 is your net income from operations. So this is actually a breakdown of your revenues, expenses, and then the net income is the difference between the two. As you can see for revenues, they were pretty close. We're about 1.7% over budget. Our expenses is about 0.1 under budget. And then the difference between the two for our net income resulted in about a $440,000 increase over budget. On page 7, this is our reserves. So I kind of went over this a little earlier of the movement of the reserves. So this shows your beginning, your change, and your ending reserves. And it's split up by operating and capital. So our total reserves is about 10.1 million, and that is coming from the totals from line 15 and 30.
Okay.
On page 8, we start our capital expenditures. Electric, I only wanted to point out one line, which is line 9 for undergrounding Bay Breeze. I originally had that 100,000 for fiscal year '26. That moved to fiscal year '27, and that's what's making up the most difference in what was budgeted and what was spent. Page 9 and 10 is the water capital. So this, again, is Hornkill, Capes Cove, Monroe Railroad are the largest contributors to the difference. Alaska Avenue was actually a positive that we budgeted more money than it actually cost. And also, if I could be so bold to make a request, on lines 44 and 45 on page 10 is the water tower and calming header. When you look at my budgeted numbers and what actually happened, the totals aren't too far off, but the projects are kind of mixed up. If we could not fund two different projects together, I would really appreciate it, because it's very hard for debt tracking and asset tracking. So we did the water tower and the common header together in one funding. And then pages 11 and 12 are wastewater. I have no other notes on that except what I've already discussed. And page 13 for stormwater, I just wanted to point out line 1 for Burton neighborhood. We were under what we budgeted, and that's actually true for all 3 utilities, water, sewer, and stormwater. It's just you see a larger percentage for this being such a small utility. And line 19, we did not do any relining that was large enough to be a capital asset.
And the yellow highlighted stuff is stuff you don't have data for yet.
Yep.
Yeah. And AMI, back a few pages, I was going to ask about AMI.
Line 24 on page 9, and on electric, it's page 8, line 8.
It'd be really good when you learn these.
Was it specific to electric or water, or just overall?
Okay, for the '26 budget for water, we were under. And am I on the right, wait a minute, I don't have my AMI. No, it's all this year's budget.
For 2027.
Yeah.
AMI starts this
Yeah,
fiscal year
okay,
2027.
okay.
Nothing in this past fiscal year.
Okay. And the big hit is in 2028.
Correct.
Okay. I was looking at the salt monitoring wells. Wrong line. Thought it was an awful small number.
Yeah.
Well, along the way, I'd like to know what you're doing in AMI.
Yep. So
Yeah.
We have hired a consultant. We are getting ready to, we actually put the ad in the paper to receive proposals. That we're issuing the RFP June 26th. They should be back to us in August, those proposals, so we'll have a better idea if our numbers are accurate, close in the ballpark, hopefully. And then we are looking to kick that project off after we select a vendor in December. And then do the full installation the following year.
Can't wait.
Okay, well, I'm sort of interested along the way in learning what the costs and benefits are
Okay,
and how we justify it.
okay. We can bring that to you.
Okay, any other questions on the treasurer, finance manager's report?
How's this working for you?
I love it. And if you watch the finance committee meeting on YouTube, I know it's riveting. But
Just
if you
your part.
actually watch it, you can see like all the details that I can pick out now of water usage, electric usage, and what class it's coming from. And when I know what class I can go right into and filter in on that class to see accounts that are different in usage. Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda is election of officers.
Oh, wait, swear you in.
Swearing
Oh,
in.
Did you want to be sworn in?
right. Swearing in of elected board members. So we have two elected board members, sort of. And who does the swearing in?
Chris is gonna do it today.
Okay. Did we come up there?
Put you on the spot.
Let me get,
We do it at the same time?
Do it either time, yeah.
Yeah,
can I,
okay.
I gotta be,
Okay.
I state your name,
I, D. Preston Lee,
I, Barbara Curtis,
do proudly swear or affirm to carry out the responsibilities of the Office of the Director of the Board of Public Works,
this is a
Whoa.
little bit more, this is smaller
do
pieces.
proudly swear
or affirm to carry out
or affirm to carry out and
the responsibilities
the responsibilities
of the Office of a Director
of the office of a director
of the Board of Public Works
of the Board of Public Works
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
freely acknowledging
freely acknowledging
that the powers of this office
that the powers of this office
flow from the people I am privileged
flow from the people I am privileged
to represent.
to represent.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
always to place the public
always to place the public
interest above any special or personal interest.
interest above any
personal
or special interest.
And to the respect of the right of the future,
to the
And to
respect
respect
the right of future generations,
and the right of
and the right of future generations
to share the rich historic
to share the rich historic
and natural heritage
and natural
of
heritage
Delaware.
of Delaware.
In doing so,
In doing so,
I will always uphold
I will always uphold
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
of my country and state,
of my country and state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you.
I think they're making it longer.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You notice it's how to break it up to shorter phrases.
Yes, yeah.
We're not that young.
Well done.
Okay, now for the open forum general discussion of the election of officers of the BPW for the upcoming year.
Madam President, I would be happy to take this on if you would like me to.
Thank you.
We can entertain a motion to nominate a president of the board.
I'll nominate Tom Panetta.
Is there a second?
Second.
We assume Mr. Panetta accepts. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We can entertain a motion to nominate a vice president of the Board of Public Works.
I nominate Barbara Curtis to be the vice president.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We can entertain a motion to nominate a secretary of the Board of Public Works.
I nominate Presley.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We can entertain a motion to nominate a treasurer of the Board of Public Works.
I'll nominate Richard Nichols.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. If we can entertain a motion to nominate an assistant treasurer of the Board of Public Works.
I nominate Bob Heffernan to be the Assistant Treasurer.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam President, you have your officers.
All right. Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, congratulations. That shakes all around.
Okay, old business. Open forum general discussion on reinstating the mitigation committee and establishing a new scope. And Mike, you have that one, I guess.
Yes, so we have the resolution in front of you reconstituting the mitigation committee. This is a resolution, so there's a two-step approval process. First question, do you want to read it in full or title only? Second would be actually on the substance. The one point I will note is we do need to set a deadline. There is a blank under section 6 for when the committee is asked to issue its final report. I don't know if there are any thoughts, whether you wanted to set it for a year or whether you wanted, you can always revisit it.
I think that this ought to be a short tenure because what we're doing is going back and looking at what we've already looked at before and updating it. And then we're also adding the back bay flood issue. There's been a lot of work, I mean, that's an open issue with this board, but it's not with the county or state. They've done a lot of work in that, and they had a recent document published last year about that. So I think there's a lot of information that's there. We're not going to be developing new information. I think it's all what's available to us. And at least one member of the proposing for the committee who worked on that document. So I see that here is going on pretty smooth. So I'm going to be the committee members. I think it's going to be a 4 to 5 meeting committee. I'd like to say that I'm suggesting six month stay. We're going to have monthly meetings, so that.
So, Professor, you're thinking November, or you thinking January?
Well, 6 months from now is
end of November.
November, yeah.
Do you want to just say by year's end?
Year's end, yes. That would be good, I think. I think we've got a really good gang that we're going to be working on it. I think it'll become.
Right, but we only have one November, December meeting.
I'm still
point.
That's, beginning in December, roughly.
What I would recommend is just set the deadline as December 31st, 2026, which would mean to be presented whenever that November, December meeting is. Again, the board can always extend it if you need be, but that puts your deadline.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I believe that there was a concern with section 3. The last line refers to a co-chair. It does not refer to a co-chair anywhere else in the resolution.
That is an error on the part of council, so we can, which other, right? One sec. So that would just be provided by the chair. Yep. So change co-chairs to chair on lines 54, 55. So you have 2 edits. One is to change co-chair to chairs, and the other is to, in section 6, insert a deadline of December 31st, 2026. Other concerns or edits?
I had a question about section 2. The top of the next page. The remaining members shall not be members of the board during their service on the mitigation committee. Is that a requirement? I thought that we were going to have 2 board members, one as chair and one as member, no?
That's what I was thinking too. When I saw that, we were going to have Bob on.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why we can't have 7.
So the thought process is that you have 7 members and that you have the balance, you have 7 members, which includes the general manager, a member of the board selected by the board, a member of council, 4 others who are non-board members. Now, if you wanted to have 2 board members, you can certainly do that, and we can change that. So it can be 2 members of the board selected by the board. Now, it does say the member selected by the board shall serve as chair, and so we can, one of the members selected by the board shall serve as chair.
I think that was what, yeah.
Okay, let me make these edits. 2 board members. The chair will be selected from the members of the board. So with the motion, assuming you would like to proceed with this today, one option that the board has is you can, the motion can be to approve as amended tonight and instruct council to make the edits. And I can make those changes based on this discussion.
So moved.
Well, so we have to read first by
Yes,
title
yes.
only or in full.
I know, but I don't want to go through that. Anyone make a motion that we want to read by title only?
I make a motion that we read it by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Which number? Madam Chair, members of the board, resolution number 26-003, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Board of Public Works of the City of Lewes regarding the recreation of a mitigation committee. Madam Chair, resolution number 26-003 has been read by title only and placed before the board for its consideration and adoption.
Okay, do we have any more discussion? Do we have a motion to adopt the resolution with the edits that our council will provide based on our discussion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approved unanimously with 1 absentee. Next, new business. Oh, wait a minute, second new business. Open forum general discussion on cost of service proposals.
I think we need to, it's 12 mitigation committee members.
Oh, shoot. Okay, thank you. Nomination, discussion on mitigation committee members. Russ?
I took the, am I charged
Yes.
already to do this? So. Yes, Danielle Swallow. She was very involved with
Oh, yeah.
county, state, several other organizations. So, and she was the person that participated in the recent Back Bay evaluation. So she'll be key person to satisfy that charge of the committee. Mm-hmm. I've asked Tracy Hancock. She's ex-EPA. She's also on the ERC committee. She's got a great background. I think at EPA she was somehow involved in new initiatives. I've asked her to serve, she's agreed. I've asked Mark Pryor to serve on the previous committee. He's happy to do that. Bob, you would do it? Robin, I think that fills it out.
And then
And the
whoever is
city.
selected by the city.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Tracy.
And I've been talking to Khalil. I went to him and told him that we needed that. I went to I think I mentioned to the mayor previously, and it looks like he may be joining us from the city.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the proposed mitigation committee members?
And it would specifically be Presley as chair, Bob Heffernan as the second board member, Danielle Swallow, Tracy Hancock, and Mark Rowdy.
Yes,
And also a city nominee?
Per the resolution.
for the resolution.
And general manager.
Motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, now we move to the cost of service proposals.
All right, I have been soliciting bids for cost of service, financial projections, and rate setting. I did receive 3 bids. You have the full proposals in the packet, but I did make a summary spreadsheet. The 3 companies that we have are UFS, Raftellus, and Waterworth. All of them have cost of service, financial projections, and rate setting. Raftellus offers an Excel model to go with the numbers, and Waterworth offers software.
Kim, back up a second. Why are you doing this?
So it's a suggested practice that you get a cost of service study and rate projections, cost of service study every 3 to 5 years to make sure that no class of customers are paying more than they should.
Okay.
And we also have our framework that we created in-house that we want.
Financial framework.
Yep.
It's in Excel.
Yes, that we created in-house that we want to use to compare and ask questions while we go through this practice, and we'll be more informed to ask those questions and challenge consultants. And as an added benefit for what the recommendation will be is that it would include software, which would get us out of Excel. So any of the formula mistakes or anything that might happen, it secures a succession plan if something were to happen to me. They have unlimited support with their software. There's no manual work of like amortization schedules, making separate graphs, reports, anything like that. And they have a presentation model in the software.
Will this replace all the work the finance committee has done on that? Or is it to test it out?
No,
I'm confused why.
that's why
Yeah.
we're talking.
Yeah.
It will be the primary use for financial projections,
Which will be
the software
the software.
So,
out of the Excel.
as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, these spreadsheets and all that model would be loaded into this software and reside there for a long time, 10 years. And it would then become the financial model that Kim uses rather than our Excel-only spreadsheet. And that has some benefits like backups and organization and other bright people who can look in there.
And also like software changes, like if we want to change the model, me and Mike don't have to sit on the phone call for hours redoing formulas of resetting. We can tell them this is what we want. They're gonna build the software to do that for us, and then we're gonna test it out instead of us having to.
Okay, and most of these companies have 5-year lookouts, but the one you selected has 10, is
Yes.
that correct? And
and it's continuous, that it's on the software. So just like how ours is to do updates, the software will update with those updates that I input.
And it will add another year, so it continues to be a 10-year
Correct.
program.
Yep.
So one of the big concerns has been, we now have the world's best Excel model hidden right here in Lewes, and an operator. And this gets us into a more logical pattern, and the one that Kim has chosen has 430 other water-type, utility-type companies that they're working with.
So they did start out as water, hence the name Waterworth. And they have built to every municipal need, really. They have one, they have an airport. Like, so they build that software to your municipal needs. So, I do have references that I emailed, the customers of Raftellus and Waterworth. They were all positive. The only negative for Waterworth was someone stated that they were new to electric, new to the power business. So they've only been forecasting power utilities for 3 years. So that is an additional recommendation from the Finance Committee to why we're doing this, to make sure everything is correct, to have Raftellus run in tandem with Waterworth.
Just
to
for electric.
ensure, yep,
Just for electric.
just for electric.
And will we then be doing this again 5 years from now?
So we will continue to pay for the software is the idea, and that we will be doing everything in-house. And that we can do the cost of service on this software. We don't need to pay for a special study. The software does everything for us.
So there's really two parts. There's this cost of service study that we have to do, or should do.
Should do.
And the backup model that would frankly be a good insurance policy for, Kim's plan to jump out of an airplane. She does have such a plan. And, a concern that has been expressed earlier, that we've got this world's best Excel model all by itself. How do we keep track of changes? And, if we put in an assumption, how do we get it out of there if it's to be changed? So Kim's got a recommendation somewhere in here.
So as this was presented to the Finance Committee, everyone likes the idea of the software and getting out of the Excel and the benefits that adds. Plus, they're the least expensive out of the three, and to ensure accuracy, to have Raftellus conduct the electric cost of service, financial projections, and rate setting in conjunction with Waterworth, and that will give us our peace of mind to continue using Waterworth for electric.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I don't know if it's in our present agreements or past agreements, but this includes unlimited professional support and advising. And I thought that we were paying every time we called the other firm.
We sure do.
And I think that's a big plus.
Yes, so that's part of like the succession plan, that if something were to happen to me, that they have the unlimited support. So even if someone has zero experience with the software, they can contact them and go through.
And you do have an implementation timeline. It's a big thing in this meeting.
Yes, so I'll start giving them the information upon the approval, and by October to have reports, everything in the model reports, to start talking about budget in November.
Will this change the handouts we get from you?
Probably. It's probably gonna change again.
I was surprised at how little there was in the proposal from Waterworth. Did they make a presentation to the Finance Committee, these three groups?
So I met with Raftellus and Waterworth. For Raftellus, it was us three, Sharon, Robin, and myself. For Waterworth, it was me and Mike Hogan from the Finance Committee, because with this being more software and model-based, that he would have enlightening questions that I might not have thought of. And they do sell themselves as a tech company first, that their focus is on software to solve municipal needs. And then they have the financial background.
And in talking with Mike, he's thrilled with the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really pleased with this, because this, he doesn't have to be around from now on to fix anything or so forth. So he thinks this is a great decision.
But the big difference in going with the transitioning to the software is that Kim and/or whoever is in her position does not have to expend so much time adjusting manually the spreadsheets, which seem to work. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
And transitioning successfully to the software will be a labor-saving device, as well as lowering the risk of, errors inadvertently coming into an Excel program. At the same time, the framework does seem to work, not being discarded in case we find something that, this isn't exactly what we wanted, or it'll take a little bit longer to activate. So we're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Correct.
In the Finance Committee, I did suggest going to site visits and stuff like that, and it was universally shouted down that was a bad idea and would delay us in the implementations schedule. So I gave
To
up.
be clear, not a bad idea, it's just timing-wise is
trying to
not
be
ideal.
Miss Congeniality this year.
I'm really surprised how little it's costed. $79,000 for 3 years.
Yep.
It sounds like.
And then what does software cost after that?
It'll be a continuous cost. So
All
pretty
of
much
the
the money that we're
79?
saving not to have to do a cost of service study will be paying for the software. That we can do it in-house.
And then I was confused about the math. If Raftellus says the electric portion is $21,170 and Waterworth says $79,100, how does that come out to $111,580?
Let me get my calculator out here.
By my math, it was $100,270.
They're not good with numbers.
I didn't know if they were charging extra because we're not taking the whole package, or?
For electric, it was $32,480
Oh, I thought it was 21. Okay.
on page 9 for Raftellus.
Oh, shoot, yeah. No, that 30, I thought that 34 was the total project. I see now. Oh, my mistake.
Good, great, I love that. Did I really mess that up?
Yeah, no. I'm not good with spreadsheets.
Never mind.
So in addition to asking for Waterworth to be awarded the bid for the cost of service, financial projections, rate setting, and software for all 4 utilities, it would also be for Raftellus for just the electric. And there would be a budget increase of $28,980 to the O&M budget.
Can we afford that?
The Waterworth is a 10-year program.
It provides 10 years of information.
Yes, information. Does the Raftellus of only electric?
It'll be 5 years.
Only 5 years, okay.
But Waterworth will build in 10 years for electric.
Yes.
We're just checking that their
Yes.
software
Yes,
works.
it's just prudent to, get as much information, feedback as possible that we can digest and compare to the framework.
Yeah.
And
My opinion, $29,000 for a peace of mind that we can do this in-house and make changes on the fly is worth it.
Do we need a motion for this? We do. Can't just be directing staff. Okay. Is there more discussion, more questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Finance Committee recommendation and the increase to the budget of $28,980?
so
Yes, to approve Kim's recommendation for funding the cost of service and a model to support it.
I think Richard moved. Are you seconding, Bob?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great work.
Yeah. Okay, open forum, general discussion on the AT&T Water Tower lease agreement.
Okay, currently, AT&T or New Singular Wireless, whatever their name is, now, currently has communication equipment on our tower at Slay Avenue. The current agreement, which was dated September 1st, 2008, was effective on the 15th of September 2008. It was a 10-year term with 2 5-year extensions, which makes them set to expire September 14th of 2028. But AT&T has requested they like to get an early jump on these renewals. So they're requesting that we renew the lease agreement, which will come effective at the end of the 28 time period. It started out as received a request for a reduction of the rent that we charge them. They are currently, along with Verizon, I think and Comcast, are on our old agreements. So we have been working to try to get all the companies now on our new agreements, our standard form agreements. So we started discussions, myself, Mike, and Sharon, to start discussion with a representative for AT&T. They've got a firm that does all this negotiating. We've been back and forth. Started out, they wanted a lot of changes. Of course, we narrowed them down and basically are trying to stand fast with our form agreement. Back and forth a few times, we finally got it narrowed down basically to 3 as far as the language. There's one, still has to talk about the rent. And in it, what you see is what the draft agreement and in the areas where they still are kind of requesting a change into our form agreement. So we can go over those 3 items, and then we can talk about the rest.
Do we have copies of that?
You should have got all of that.
Yeah.
I have it right
Tab
after.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I'm sorry. I was in the wrong section.
It's just starting out under the terms, which is under 3B. We've noted as the renewal notice period is 12 months. They are asking for 18 months. They say they need that much time to find a new location and to find a contractor and to get the equipment off. As we noted in our recommendation, is we want to maintain the 12 months. We just feel that's adequate time for them to do it. As far as Section 5 is the holdover period, they want to reduce the holdover rate from 150% to 103% of the base rent. Again, we're looking to stand firm on the 150%.
Robin, what's holdover in this case?
A holdover is if they are out of agreement, what is the rent that they pay?
So the lease has expired, but they're still there.
But they're still staying.
Yes.
They haven't removed their equipment.
Right.
And so this agreement allows the BPW to charge 150% of whatever the most recent rent was.
And during discussion, it kind of gives them motivation to
Get out.
Yeah.
to do something.
Oh, yeah.
As far as Section 9Ds, the removal of facilities, we have in our time period is 6 months. We give them 6 months. They want to do the 18-month just like they did previously for the relocation and things like that. We want to stand fast on the 6 months requirement. Also, when speaking, or got an email from Mike last night and this morning, in Section 6B, it talks about the tenant may obtain a title report and commitment to the leaseholders, stuff like that. We felt this wasn't really relevant because they have current equipment already on the tower. This would be more for a new application coming in. So it was the recommendation of Mike to just remove that language totally and put reserved in there, just to leave that section blank because it really doesn't pertain to in this case. That also applies to Section 7C, which is termination. It basically is the same thing, talking about construction of stuff that's already there. So the recommendation would be to just remove that current language in both of those sections and just add a reserve, as a reserve for the new, like a new agreement we have with someone else.
Which part of Section 7?
7C.
7C?
So if everybody's ready, we can move to the rent. The initial conversation.
Yeah.
As you see in the letter,
Could I ask?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yep,
ask a
go ahead.
question? On the presumption that this is going to be a 15-year, in effect, the 10 plus 5 renewal, is there any possibility that technology changes drastically that needs to be addressed in some way, that the technology makes it easier, smaller, open up for, I don't know what.
Interesting.
Is some emergency addressed in this agreement relative to extending an extended period of time in a change in a in a time of rapidly increasing technology and so on. Does that make any sense?
It does. So keep in mind, so obviously the BPW has the water tower that is valuable space and you are leasing space to the company. I would submit that the risk of changes in technology is really borne by the company. And so we do have in here, protections for the water tower, protections for the BPW to, if you allow one provider in there to protect against interference on another provider, and all of that is in there. If the question is, well, what if this technology becomes obsolete or replaced by something else? Is there room for those changes? And I would submit that, again, that's a risk for the provider. They can come back to the BPW and try to rework or amend in lieu of whatever that is. But from the BPW's perspective, our main concern is really rent, protecting the infrastructure, and the ability for you to perform the BPW functions.
And if I'm AT&T and I find that this new technology would substantially cost me less, how do I get out of this lease?
So I'm not going to get into those
that's kind of the area of the question, given this timeline, way beyond, I guess, the people here.
So I am actually happy to talk offline and walk through the termination clause and options and how that works. Okay. Obviously, there's an incentive for the board to ensure that you get paid and protected for your space, and that's accounted for in the agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
One thing I was surprised about in this agreement is that there's mention of environmental or industrial hygiene conditions, but nothing about safety.
Happy to walk through there. I mean, there is indemnification, there is notice, there are notice requirements, there are things along those lines, but I'd be happy to walk through that.
Yeah, where did the industrial hygiene thing come from? What kind of exposures? You mean exposures to electromagnetic radiation, or I don't understand where that's coming from.
Part of this, there's industry standards, and so this agreement was put together and reviewed based on recommended practices for these types of agreements. But again, we can drill into that more specifically on what those are. This particular agreement is the form agreement that the board approved previously with the requested modifications that are here. It's been a while since I have really taken a deep dive into those sections, so a part of this is me punting, but I would be happy to take a deeper dive and answer those questions.
And another question I have is our new water tower. Are we going to be leasing space on that as well? And
there's potential, yes.
Yeah. And before we start talking about rent, has there been a study done of what other water towers are charging for rent?
It's not a study, that's just me
a survey.
Googling.
A survey.
And I did not find a whole lot. Newcastle, I found one that was 15 years old. I couldn't find any newer agreements. We could potentially call around to other municipalities, no problem. But again, in regards to the rent, we do have other providers that are paying similar rates, and they are not requesting reductions.
I'm thinking about that new Milton water tower that's being built. Is that too far away to be a replacement for? I mean, I don't know how close they need to be.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Just we're dealing with T-Mobile. They came to the board a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I remember.
wanting to utilize the tower. We didn't have room for them, and they were talking about going through, putting a crown or whatever you want on top of the tower.
right.
They're still going to that. I made them aware we're having a new tower put up, and they said this is the ideal spot for them.
Even that close,
Yeah.
okay, so that's helpful information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that the other tower is not usable for
Yeah.
somebody, but they just felt that was ideal for them.
Okay. Yes.
In the section that says the escalation of 3%, again, giving a 15-year lookout, is that the right number?
AT&T has reviewed this, and they feel comfortable with 3%.
Yeah, but how about us?
Our other agreements with others are 3%. So that's consistent.
I'm guessing that's why they wanted the holdover to be 103%.
That was, yeah, I think that's part of the 3%.
Negates the whole point of the whole.
Right, right.
Okay, thank you.
So what do we need to accomplish?
Well, you want to talk about the rent?
Yeah.
Or do you want to try to break that down separate? Okay. They are requesting what would be $2,180 a month. What they're saying, reduce the annual rent to $26,083.44. Don't know where they got the number from. My math is a little different, but currently they are paying yearly $37,399.69. That would be
What was the reasoning for reducing the rent?
they say the market, in their letter, they talked about the market. During our evaluation of this market, this site is identified with rent above the local average, with alternative locations nearby. Basically say we're charging too much for what this area holds. As Sharon said, we do have another current agreement with another provider. They are currently paying about $38,000 a year. So what we're charging them is consistent with what we're charging the other provider.
And this amount that we're charging them now, that's been based on a 3% per year.
Year one, it started out as $19,200 with
Okay.
an annual increase.
Okay.
The city of Newark, the one that I did find from 2009, their annual, their annual started at $33,600. That was in 2009.
So you would like us to say
No.
direction, maintain current rates? Sure.
That's our recommendation.
Start there.
Well, why even, when were these set? What was our current rates?
The current rate for this agreement was set in 2008. They started out at $19,200 in 2008.
This is 2026, right?
Yes.
Right. Right.
I don't think we go down.
No.
We might go up. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I mean, how many places ever lower their rents?
Yeah.
Well, the next highest place is gonna be our new water tower.
Right.
Is it higher? In fact,
It's probably consistent. It might be a little bit, but normally the balance will usually stay the same,
It'd be-
roughly.
The highest point is the park.
But I mean, it's not gonna be on top of the hospital or anything like that, so I think you got a pretty good chance of getting what you do. Maybe they just start low because they don't want you to say, well, it's really worth, and there's a lot more people here. And you've raised your rates, you know?
Yeah, plenty.
What I would recommend, and so the question here, so we've got the form agreement. They are requesting for deviations from the form agreement. You have staff recommendation. This is an opportunity to talk about that and then respond to AT&T as it pertains to those requested revisions to the form agreement. When it comes to the rent, you have two options. They are asking to reduce it. Staff is recommending not to reduce it. And so your two options are either accept what they are asking and call it a day, or instruct staff to negotiate on rent based on the feedback that you have here, which again, everything you talked about, the time that's gone by, don't see a basis to reduce. We don't want to, and we're not asking to negotiate that number here.
Right.
But we are looking for direction from the board relative to the form agreement, requested revisions, and whether you want staff to entertain that negotiation and come back to the board.
So based on the discussions that have happened so far, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 items that seem not yet to be agreed to. Based on what has happened to them. They maybe come back with, oh, and by the way, I want this, that, and the other thing. But, okay.
Overall, the language, again, there wasn't a lot of discussion besides the original letter on the rent decrease. We had to get through the new language. If we'd have kept the old agreement, then basically the conversation would have been just about the rent. But we wanted to get them on the new form. That's when we sent them the new form, and that's when it moved over to language changes. So kind of it all fits together. But these are the three areas of the language, current language, that they were asking for changes to.
Where the old agreement didn't have a 3% raise a year. That's so their present rate has been raised 3% since 2008. Is that what we're saying?
The old agreement, if I recall correctly, I'll look at it real quick. I think it was 4%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. They were doing a 4%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But the standard on our other forms is 3%.
Okay.
So we were trying to be consistent, so we went with the 3%.
Did you look at their landlord portal to see whether there's anything on there that would justify dropping the rent?
No, I did not, no.
Well, so I am aware of other municipalities that have received requests from other providers to reduce the rent. It seems to be an industry. Those examples have gone back requesting information justifying it. So that's one option that you have if you want to go back to them and have them show their map.
So I make a motion that we ask staff to continue negotiating these 4 items.
Well, I think the question, I think staff's recommendation is twofold. One is a motion to accept staff's recommendations relative to Section 3B, Section 5, Section 9D. And then the second one would be to instruct staff to engage on rent.
And also the
Section 6B and Section 7C.
Yep.
I accept that amendment.
So moved?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving right along. I think we're on 15, open forum general discussion on accepting the supplemental funding resolution for the 4th Street and Park Avenue project.
Okay, what you have in front of you is a resolution as part of the supplemental funding that was approved by WEAC for the 4th Street project. WEAC approved it on March 25th. We have signed a binding commitment letter as part of the process. We must approve a resolution for the part of the loan closing documents. Mayor and City Council also gets their version of this resolution. They will be hopefully considering their portion at the June 8th meeting. We're hoping it would be on the 27th meeting today, but that timing didn't allow it. So they'll be doing it in June, hopefully. Once this is all approved, these resolutions are approved, we can get together all the documents for the loan closing in the future. Pretty self-explanatory. I think we have to do the title only and.
Two-step process.
Question? Yes, sir.
On the third whereas, first page, at the very end, including approximately 29 house service pipes with potential lead service piping components collectively, are we signing on to replacing these 29 house service pipes?
Yes, sir.
If needed?
Yep.
Whatever the cost?
But that means from our water service line to the house,
Yes.
not
Curb stop.
inside the house.
Correct.
It's to the meter pit, or it's?
No, that was gonna be done anyway. These lead service lines are from the meter pit to the house.
To the house.
Yes, correct. Yep.
But just on those 29 houses? Why is it, is there something special about these 29 house service pipes?
I don't know if part of the original.
It says approximately.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Not even accurate.
I think it was somewhat
The older
determined by the
houses?
inventory that there probably was the 29. Or approximately 29 at the time.
But
Could be more.
We've always known that, and that's
Yes.
just, okay.
It was included in the
Yep,
funding.
yep, correct.
But we would replace all that we ran into.
Correct, the lead, yes. Yep.
I'm assuming that we have some sort of documentation that those service lines that are not included have already been replaced. That is my assumption why they did not include all of the service lines.
We don't know for a fact that these are all lead.
We do not.
That's what we're just assuming.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Right, but the implication may also be that we don't know of any others, or that any others we've already taken care of, or it doesn't matter because we're piggy bank. I don't know.
Well, I think the BPW, based on personal experience, is they dug up the street in front of my house one time a couple of years ago. Guy came in and said, hey, you've got a lead water pipe, we're replacing it. I think that's been our practice.
It's best to get the lead out of the.
Yes. My guess would be that those are the 29 oldest houses, or houses built before lead service lines were banned. But that's just a hypothesis on my part.
And it could be. I can't remember. Ben, did we get that number from the 120? Do you
I
recall?
suspect we did.
Yeah.
I think this is referencing the original 4th Street.
Correct.
project, So it's been a while since I've looked at it.
And there's a total of 44 properties on that stretch that we're doing. Is that correct? Maybe, whatever the number is. So with the 120, with the water, the lead and copper rule,
Yeah,
where we had sent out those surveys, if the customers came back and said, hey, we already replaced this, so we took those off the list. So that's probably how we got to that 29.
Thank you.
so we have a motion to be read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
There.
Aye.
Madam President, members of the board, resolution number 26-004, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Board of Public Works of the City of Lewes, Delaware, authorizing the borrowing of $4,413,565 from the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund, acting by and through the Delaware Department of Natural Resources Environmental Control for the purpose of financing the Supplemental 4th Street and Park Avenue Sewer Improvements Projects, and B, $2,241,347 from the Delaware Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, acting by and through the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services for the purpose of financing the Supplemental 4th Street and Park Avenue Water Improvements Project and authorizing other necessary action. Madam President, members of the board, resolution number 26-004 has been read by title only and placed before the board for its consideration and adoption.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Or do I have a motion?
It's built in there.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, number 16, open forum general discussion on accepting the developers agreement with Abbott Park.
This needs to be removed from the agenda for this month. They weren't able to get their documents in time, so we're hopefully next month.
Okay. Board or staff requests for agenda items for the next meeting or subsequent meetings? Any? No? Okay. Call to the public. Nobody online? No? Okay. Call to the press. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.